What is up, guys? Wolfgang here. So today I wanted to make a quick video on the Rite of the 9 weapons. Now, I was expecting to be farming today, as I thought Ghost of the Deep was going to release, as most people did. But, well, it's not the case, so I figured might as well spend some time with you guys and let you know what god rolls I'm looking for. But yeah, let's get into it. So, currently, Spire the Watcher is the farmable dungeon, so we'll go through these roles fairly quickly. I'm focusing only on PvE, as that's what I do. I'm not really a PvP guy, so I will avoid talking about PvP. In my opinion, the only role worth going for, if any, is Attrition Orb's Desperate Measures, and maybe something like Headstone Desperate Measures. But realistically, I am not into sidearms. I don't think this sidearm is great, so it's just, options, I guess, if you really want to stay as a sidearm primary for some reason. Next up, long arm. I was kind of excited for this one, and it kind of just failed me afterwards. For PvE, even though the perk is still bugged from my understanding, recycled energy, whenever it's fixed, it could be decent because you can reload one single bullet into the mag with long arm. So it's an option. It's an interesting option, and something like Dragonfly for a bit more add clear, Rolling Storm if you want more bolt charge. But yeah, not too interested in long arm. Next up is Terminus Horizon. This one has several interesting roles. Now, the one thing to keep in mind is that it isn't high impact frame, which means it shoots slower than most and reloads. Well, I guess all machine guns take a long time to reload. But what I want to say is the jolting feedback will take 11 shots to proc on machine guns. So it's not exactly the best on high impact frames. It's better on rapid fires, faster shooting weapons, something like Watchful Eye, which is a beast of a machine gun. So on this one, even though I could recommend Jolting Feedback and Dragonfly, I think that's a really fun combo. Another option you could go for is something like Dragonfly Rolling Storm or Reconstruction Rolling Storm. And of course, the machine gun quintessential perk combo, Reconstruction Killing Tally, to just slay out on everything. Next up, the weapon I've most been excited for, at least for Spire of the Watcher, Wilderflight. You might have seen some really fun damage rotations, not exactly meta, but really fun, which is what I kind of really care about for the most part. Envious Arsenal Bait and Switch is amazing. If it had a Withering Gaze swap, it would be perfect. As well as an auto-loading swap, as when you run out of heavy weapon ammo, Envious Arsenal you can't really use, so having a swap to auto-loading is good, but Envious Arsenal is much more important in my opinion, and Bait and Switch is the most important, then Withering Gaze. Vorpal could be a substitute for Bait and Switch, but for higher damage, Bait and Switch is better. There's some arguments for lead from gold, as well as destabilizing. I personally think if you want to use destabilizing weapon, you should be using Lotus Eater. It is so much better, period. I don't care what you say. You have more reserves, you can shoot more, you get Repulsor Brace as an option. Like, I don't understand. Well, I guess you have Repulsor Brace here as well. Well, the point is, use Lotus Eater, don't use this for add clear, please. And then, yeah, this is the role I'm going for, and I actually have pretty good role, something like this, if I'm not mistaken. Worth mentioning, Gravity Well. It's on all of these weapons, doesn't proc on most reload perks, but I've heard that Slide Shot does proc it, so that's an interesting role. Slide Shot with Gravity Well, maybe something with Vorpal or Lead from Gold for like a champion killing sort of a burst attack thing. I don't know how to call it, but it's a possible role as well. Now then, going into Ghost of the Deep, and believe it or not, these are the weapons I am most excited for. Out of all the 4 dungeons, this one is where I have the most weapons I'm interested in. So, Greasy Luck has a couple options. The role I'm certainly going to be going for is something like Reconstruction Incandescent. Heal Clip is an option, but Reloading Glaives isn't always great, or really never great. Lead from Gold, solid option to just keep shooting and have a lot of ammo. Now, I wish Incandescent and Chain Reaction on this side, they're both good, but I wish they would both proc on the melees, but of course that might be a little bit too OP. So, yeah, for the most part, I'd say this is the general role you want to be going for. No survivors. So if I'm not mistaken, this is the first SMG to get Heal Clip Incandescent, which I will be going for 100%, even though I do not like SMGs. I would like to give this a shot and have a Heal Clip Incandescent SMG in my vault. Now, there is, of course, also the option of Attrition Orbs, always pretty good. And I thought at least that it had... Does not. Okay, so yeah, you have Attrition Orbs in there with Incandescent as well. Pretty solid option, make some orbs, and solid add clear. But me personally, Heal Clip is the way. Next up, New Pacific Epitaph. I struggled to say that many times. I've been wanting a solid stasis waveframe GL, and the last time around, when it was a normal weapon from the dungeon, the best roll you could get was something like Demo Adrenaline Junkie. Not bad, not great in my opinion for add clear, but now it gets stuff like it gets chain reaction on the right column, so really good. I'm very interested in it with like Lead from Gold to have more ammo. Demolitionist is also a pretty solid option, but I think Lead from Gold is my pick for New Pacific Epitaph. And the one that everyone's going to be hunting, I know it, is Cold Comfort. So with Hezen Vengeance being the best rocket in the game, I'm hoping this can do some competition as it is the same frame. So just, very basic roll everyone's going to be going for is Envious Arsenal Bait and Switch. Really great, really solid. It has some interesting interactions with Restoration Ritual, as I'm not sure you want to actually have Envious Arsenal. I am thinking maybe Impulse Amplifier. If you're able to consistently proc Restoration Ritual and like overflow your magazine a lot with this rocket, Impulse Amplifier might be more helpful for faster velocity rockets. But in general, Envious Arsenal is just a great pick. As an alternative, if you are playing a lot on Prismatic and are able to proc Elemental Honing easily, then that is even better, as it is a 35% damage boost instead of a 30% bait and switch. So just keep that in mind, depending on what you play. I think Warlock and Hunter are very easy. Titan is a little more convoluted, so it's not as worth it. But yeah, just keep that in mind. I will be going for Envious Arsenal bait and switch, as I am a Titan. What I believe, and most people believe, will be the last dungeon to release is Prophecy, in Rite of the Nine at least. And so this dungeon is not exciting for me. There's one weapon, the Sudden Death, which we'll talk about at the end. But most of these are PvP weapons, especially these three, Prosecutor, Relentless, and Judgment. I believe they are basically exclusively PvP, but I'll go through the roles I would recommend if you're actually just going in there for one of these guns. So for Prosecutor, I believe the gut roll will not change from what it was previously. It would be Dragonfly Volt Shot. Now, Attrition Orbs is good, but if you want Attrition Orbs Volt Shot, I would much more recommend to get the Vesper's Host weapon or assault rifle, the Pyroelectric Propellant, as it has jolting feedback. It's just a lot better, and the Origin trait is also better in my opinion. Crossing over, not really too useful in my opinion. Gravity Well, maybe. It has its points, but Bray Legacy from Vesper's Host giving you ability energy, just huge plus. I don't see a reason not to use Pyroelectric over this one. But Dragonfly Volt Shot sounds like fun, so if you're into that, go ahead. Next up, Relentless. This one I really don't want for PvE. There's some good PvP rolls. If you really needed a PvP roll out of this weapon, you could go with like Firefly Hatchling. Is as good as the add clear it could get. Elemental Honing, maybe. I wouldn't, but it's an option. And Paracausal Affinity for a little more damage more consistently, but yeah, I think Firefly Hatchling is as good as it's going to get for PvE. Next up, Judgment. Now, Judgment is... I've heard some interesting arguments for Judgment in PvE. Stuff like Headstone and, I don't know, Time Payload. As Time Payload does like a delayed explosion, you're able to, when there are hand cannon artifact mods, it's able to stun a lot faster. So this is definitely an interesting option. I don't have a Time Payload hand cannon in my vault, so I might go for this one. I'm not too sure yet, but it's an option. It's interesting. Of course, Headstone Rhyme Stealer, which I don't really personally like Rhyme Stealer. I'm not shooting my Stasis Crystals with my primary, but if you do that, hey, Rhyme Stealer is there for you. You can also, of course, get stuff like Demo, Precision Instrument for a little bit more consistent damage, Paracausal Affinity. But yeah, for the most part, I am going for Headstone Time Payload and Judgment. Now, lastly, a Sudden Death. Now, this has many different combinations of good rolls. I had something very similar to this roll previously with another Void Shotgun. I forgot its name, to be honest. Discord destabilizing, so it's pretty much a lot of ad clear. I don't know if destabilizing will proc Discord. That would be crazy. Probably not. But, you know, that is a role I'm interested in. Probably the one I'm most interested in, though, however, is 1-2 punch trench barrel, which this is the first shotgun that has 1-2 punch and trench barrel in separate columns, from my understanding. So, yeah, just a lot of melee damage and a lot of shotgun damage when doing melee. So, you know, it feeds into itself. It's really good. It sounds really good. I wish it had an origin trait like Cast No Shadows from Perfect Paradox, as when you melee, it reloads it. That would make it just the perfect weapon for like melee builds. But it is not an option here. Just stick with Gravity Well, and you'll be doing pretty good. But yeah, those are the roles I'm looking for, weapons of Rite of the Nine. Hopefully this helped you out, figure out what roles you want. And yeah, do all the YouTube stuff below, and have a good one.